Hello, my name is Mr. Bryce with Susquehanna Valley High School here in Conklin, New York, and what we're doing is the Algebra 2, which is also the structures class. This is the non-regent section, Unit 3 test corrections. We're doing the test corrections before we take the test because we found out that you do a lot better if you do the test corrections before the test. This is like a practice test. First thing says calculate the average rate of change. If you don't show the work, you're not going to get any credit. No work, no credit, because you know what the right answer is. The computer tells you what the right answer is. Calculate the average rate of change. That's delta y over delta x, which is the same thing as slope. And it says start at -3, and it says go all the way to 1. So we're using those 2 points. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if you take the second point, the y value, and do 6 minus -5, and then you do the x value, 1 minus -3, you get the positive value, 11 over 4. And it says you have to have the positive number. If you didn't, you would get -11 over -4, and a negative divided by a negative is still positive. You would have had the right answer. Number 2, a specific function contains 2 points. The function is linear. If you didn't know it was linear, you wouldn't be able to do the related rate. Okay, the 2 points are 210 and 714. So again, that's delta y over delta x, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So then you take the second point, y value, which is 14, minus the first point's y value, which is 10, over the second point's x value, which is 7, minus the first point's x value, which is 2. When you subtract them, you get 4 over 5. Positive value. If you had a negative value, you would have done a negative divided by a negative. Number 3, a linear function has a related rate of 3/4 and contains the point 2, 7. What's the equation of the function using the point slope form? No spaces between anything. Okay, this, like I said, is very handy. Y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. So we have the given point, and that's going to be the y1 and the x1. We have the m, which is the slope. So the whole thing goes to y minus 7 equals the slope, which is 3/4 x minus 2. And there's the equation. So here is the equation in point slope form. If you distribute and combine like terms, you'll have it in slope-intercept form. Given the following table is from a linear function, fill in the missing coordinate. So we have 2 points. There are several ways to do it. I am going to use, instead of y equals mx plus b or slope-intercept form, I'm going to use point slope form because it's quicker to write the equation. So we just wrote it right there. What do? We do y minus, and then y1, pick a point. I don't care which point. We're going to pick that point right there. So the y is going to be 6. Y minus y1 equals m, and then x is -4 minus x1. So here, the equation is almost in point slope form. I know it looks a lot different than the one up front. We have to find the slope. I already plugged in one of the points. So here, if we find the slope, we find the slope between the 2 points, 4,2 and -4,6. So y2 is 2 and y1 is 6. x2 is 4 and x1 is -4. That's m. So we have 2 minus 6 is -4, and then 4 minus -4 is 8, which is -1/2. Now we have the slope. 6 minus y1 equals negative 1/2 negative 4 minus x1. Now we're going to use this to find the missing coordinate. Okay, so just feeling a little uneasy in my stomach about this. It's because this last step that I did, it could be the fourth step or the third step. Okay, so uh, you know, it's okay. These two steps that I'm doing are interchangeable. So now, if I want to find this blank, everywhere I see an x, I put in negative 2. So 6 minus y equals negative 1/2 times negative 4 minus negative 2. Then I crunch the numbers, and y equals 5. If you want to copy that down, hit pause now because it's about to disappear. Of course, if you missed it, you can always hit rewind just a little bit and copy it down again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find that x value. So everywhere where I see a y, I'm going to put negative 5. So it's 6 minus negative 5 equals negative 1/2 negative 4 minus x. Crunch the numbers, and hopefully I did that correctly. X is 18. Again, you can hit pause if you want to copy it down, because here it goes. Okay, this one's pretty quick. Just says, given the equation in point-slope form, what's the equation in slope-intercept form? Y minus 8 distribute add 8 there it is. Given the function, what is the best window? Okay, so the proper choice is not one of the multiple choices. So let's take a look at how we do this. So taking our graphing calculator, we can put the equation into the graphing calculator. And what I did was I did these mentally. You can plug in, and this is exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to plug in negative 10 for x, then we're going to plug in 30 for x. So taking a look at the table, we look for negative 10 for x, and we see for the negative 10, it comes out as negative 2018, and for the 30, it comes out as 53,982. So we want to go a little bit smaller than negative 2,000. So anything around negative 2,100, negative 2,225, I think is something I put down. But you'll take a look at the choices, and then for a little bit bigger than 30, because you go a little bit smaller than the bottom, a little bit bigger than the top, something around 55,000 would be appropriate. So I'm going to get rid of that comma because we don't want to think that it's three things. There we go. And that's how you find it. You can just plug it into the calculator. You can go right to the table, and a little bit smaller than the smaller one, a little bit bigger than the bigger one. This is a vocabulary question. That means inverse. So just write down means inverse. So change x and y value. So given the point 512, the new point is 12.5. That's why it's only worth 1 point. Number 8, given the function y equals 2/3 x plus 12, what's the inverse of this function? That just means change the x and y's and solve for y. So you subtract 12 from both sides. X minus 12 equals 2/3 y. When you divide by 2/3, remember you're really multiplying by 3/2. So it's 3 halves x minus, now 12 over 1 times 3 halves is 36 over 2, which is just 18, and that equals y. I don't know how the computer recognizes it, so that's what it is in standard form. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me before the start of class.